Chapter 10. I studied the man standing before me. He was the same one that made the cameo appearances in the security monitor and footage. He was tall, lean, and familiar somehow. His hair was dark, and he had a hard, handsome quality to him. His eyes were steel gray like Grayson's. Holy shit! I was standing in front of Grayson's missing brother. You're David! He smiled, showing his perfectly straight white teeth.
What gave it away?
Your voice, your handsome cologne model features, and the way you carry yourself. But it's your eyes that sealed it.
Ah, yes, the family gray eyes.
Why are you here? Am I supposed to be afraid of you? I was too stunned and curious to feel any real danger.
You mean you're not afraid of a stranger standing in your living room?
Not really. You're Grayson's brother, and I'm too exhausted. He smirked.
I hope my brother didn't keep you up all night.
I glared at him. Don't even start. I have to stay awake for 24 hours. It has nothing to do with Grayson.
He didn't even try anything? I thought I taught him better.
You taught him enough. I refuse to talk about this further. What do you want?
Should I be afraid of you? You have a punching bag in your room and no fear of strangers.
It's for pent-up hostility from the poker table.
Do the clothes draped on it help or hinder the expulsion of your hostility?
Hinder, which is why I'm still hostile.
Good to know,
he said and relaxed on my couch. What do you want from me? I settled into a chair opposite of him. Why aren't you talking to Grayson?
Grayson's movements are always being watched. He has cameras everywhere and his people know where he is at all times.
You already broke into the cash room. You don't seem to be worried about cameras.
I did that for evidence. I allowed the camera to catch me so Grayson would figure it out. I can't, however, keep letting the camera catch me.
What's with the hand signal in the camera?
We had secret hand signals when we were kids. Grayson knows what it means.
I arched my eyebrow. So you're trying to help Grayson?
Yes, but I need you to relay my messages.
He eyed Gus, who was lying on the cushion next to him.
What's wrong with him? Last time he attacked me.
He was on a diet, but I gave up. Why can't you call Grayson yourself? Gus glared at me when I said diet. He attempted to curl himself into a ball, but couldn't with all the extra stomach. He settled for a horseshoe shape and sighed.
I don't want you to call him. You have to give him the messages in person.
Absolutely not.
I need your help.
I'm not getting involved.
You're already involved.
I tapped my foot. I don't see why you can't call him.
I think someone is tapping his phone calls.
If that's the case, wouldn't there be some kind of bug in his penthouse?
I'm sure there is.
And his limo?
Most likely.
Why don't you ask him to meet you somewhere else?
Because I need you.
I studied his face. You're afraid of him.
It's not that simple.
I narrowed my eyes at him. Why did you disappear for 2 years?
I can't tell you.
The way I see it, you're either in hiding or working on some sort of secret case. Otherwise, you wouldn't go missing and then reappear now. You couldn't tell Grayson or the rest of your family, and now you're afraid Grayson will kick your ass for disappearing and not telling him. He smirked.
Something like that.
Does the reason you disappeared have anything to do with the counterfeit money?
No, it has nothing to do with it. But it makes it even more important that I keep a low profile.
I crossed my arms. You haven't been keeping a low profile so far.
I only let you see me when I want you to.
He stretched out his long legs, making himself at home. You mean you've been around me before and I haven't seen you? He nodded and scratched Gus behind the ear. You're not making your case any better.
Listen, Grayson needs help whether he knows it or not. I can't help him without blowing my cover. Please do this for me.
Why me? Why not Maya?
I can't let her know. I believe she's being watched as well. Speaking of Maya, did she pick that outfit out for you? It doesn't seem like something you'd wear.
I groaned. She was doing me a favor. My clothes were drenched and she bought these from the boutique. David nodded.
It has Maya written all over it.
His lips curled.
It works for you. I'm sure Grayson had an eyeful.
I ignored the remark about Grayson. Maya is a sweetheart. How could you leave her? His eyes softened.
Believe me, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I can go home to Maya sooner if you help me.
How? He sighed.
You ask a lot of questions.
I opened up my mouth to argue, but he raised his hand to stop me.
I'm working on something right now. I can't say anything about it, but I always keep an eye out for my family. I had gotten wind of some dirty money coming from Grayson's casino. I came back to find out for myself. I took a big risk coming here.
Tell me what you know. It appeared I was already involved and was going to be riding this train wreck until the very end.
I know the money is fake and not done professionally. I'm surprised it hasn't caught up to Grayson yet.
Do you know how it's filtered into the building?
I don't. I'm still figuring that out.
I relaxed in my chair. Grayson watched all the footage, but some of it is missing. David nodded.
That makes sense. Does he have any idea who it might be?
He knows it was an inside job. There was a guy hired and paid by the casino, but Grayson said there was no way he would have hired him.
I figured as much. South, you'll help me?
I'll help you for Maya's sake. He smiled.
I'm glad Maya has a friend like you.
Yeah, just hurry up and come home so she can dump her jackass boyfriend. He chuckled.
You really do have some pent-up hostility.
Aren't you mad she's dating?
Of course I am, but I knew that was going to happen when I left. She's a beautiful and vibrant woman. It would be ignorant to think she would wait for me. I'm actually very happy she waited as long as she did.
Well, fortunately for you, she's still hung up on you. David smirked.
The Millers tend to have that effect.
I scoffed at him. I haven't seen anything to make me believe that. Amused, he raised his eyebrow.
You know what they say about pets and their owners, don't you? You're starting to resemble your irritable cat, or is it the other way around?
I stood abruptly. My hands flew to my hips. I was about to give him a stern what for when he laughed.
Seriously, you're too easy to rattle. Come here.
I stood my ground. My eyes followed him as he stood and strolled into my bedroom. He returned a short while later with my boxing gloves.
Put them on,
he said. I don't feel like punching anything.
Your whole body is pulsing with negative energy. I'll have to give Grayson a lecture next time I see him. If he would have properly taken care of your needs, you would be soft and satisfied.
I glared at him. I really didn't want to hear about his brotherly advice on girls, especially if it had to do with Grayson. He could probably give a few lessons of his own. David chuckled, grabbed my hand, and led me into my bedroom. He positioned me in front of the punching bag and shoved the gloves on my hands as he gave me instructions on proper technique.
Go ahead,
he said, stepping out of the way.
Give it your best shot.
I tapped the bag with my glove.
And try a little harder.
I gave it a soft punch. A smile crept on my face. I quickly smothered it.
Good, now harder.
Really?
I want you to beat the shit out of it.
I gave it a solid punch. My tension dissipated. I punched it again.
Great. Let's switch it up so you don't fatigue or hurt yourself.
He positioned himself in front of the punching bag and demonstrated jabs, hooks, and uppercuts. I watched in awe as his muscles rippled underneath his t-shirt. He was in top physical condition. I could see why Maya was still hung up on him. My mind shot to Grayson. I pushed David out of the way and hauled back and walloped the bag. David called out punches, and I followed his instructions. After 20 minutes, I was drenched in sweat and exhausted. Can I stop now? I asked.
Have we vanquished your aggression yet?
Caleb zapped into my brain. I clenched my teeth together, spun around, and kicked the bag. It smacked into the wall with a thud. David's eyes widened.
Where did that come from?
Gently, and a whole lot of resentment.
Hit the shower, Jet. We have work to do.